Okay, try to call this meeting to order. The second?
Second.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda and the minutes? Are there any modifications to the agenda that anyone?
New business.
What's that?
New business.
Is there any modifications to the new business that you're going to see on here, on the agenda?
Yeah, I have two committees, recommendations.
Okay. Any other additions or changes to the agenda? All right. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. There are no public, so we can forego public comment. We will move on to, actually, we need to approve the minutes from the prior meetings as well. So do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
A motion.
And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'll just abstain since I wasn't here.
Okay. All right, so the minutes are approved. So we'll move into new business. First one is legal counsel. As you know, we are a quasi-government entity. As such, the Sumner County Legal Department doesn't really, they shouldn't really be doing anything for Sumner County tourism from a legal standpoint. So when we met with them, they recommended that we pursue our own legal counsel for the entity. Not that we need a lot, so it wouldn't be like something permanent, but in the event we need like documents drafted or something like that in the future, we should really be pursuing our own legal counsel. So that was a recommendation of the Sumner County Legal. I'm just going to open that up for discussion. You all may, who work for the county, may have differing opinions.
Who brought that up? Do you know where that idea came from?
The legal department.
Because the Resource Authority is also quasi-governmental, and they've always had their own legal counsel. You know, I always wondered why we used the county, so, yeah. We may need to hire a legal counsel to come to our meetings and give us advice.
Are there any other concerns from the board about that? So I think next steps then would be, Mark, you can just identify some potential attorneys that we could leverage in the event that we need some.
I think it probably ought to be somebody close by, somebody in Gallatin, so, because we have to pay for their travel.
Yep.
So I don't want somebody coming to the White House or Nashville that we have to pay travel for, so.
Yep.
Gallatin would be a good spot to find a lawyer.
Yep. Okay, so what would the motion be for this? Motion to identify and retain legal counsel specifically for Sumner County tourism.
Bring recommendations.
Bring recommendations, I think we should vote.
Yep.
We should select it, not the directors.
Agreed.
Particularly since he's interim.
I agree.
I make a motion that Mark come back with recommendations for legal counsel for the tourism board.
Yep. Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So that motion is approved. Second item, ratification of Section 2 in the employment agreement extension. That was in the last extension as well, but we didn't explicitly talk about it during the last meeting. Ultimately, all that says is that in the event that someone other than Mark is selected, then we have to give him a year's notice prior to termination of his contract. So we just need to ratify that. So do I have a motion to ratify?
I have a question.
Yep.
I don't see here how many hours he's supposed to be working a month. I see a monthly rate, but I don't see how many hours a month.
It's not an hourly
I
job.
understand that, but he's required to put in so many hours a month, or is he required per week or whatever?
I mean, it's a salaried position, so it's at least 48 hours. Any additional questions? Okay. We have a motion to ratify this.
I'll motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, then let's have a motion to discuss why nobody wants to ratify this.
I'll second.
Okay, all right. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Abstain.
Okay. Motion's approved. Under business, the next item, brought up by Mr. Jenkins.
So it's a follow-up to informal discussions prior about the lease agreement and the future plans of the tourism office.
Okay.
And Shannon's not here, but she was going to get from the county mayor the plot plan and to see the scope, the entire scope of the lease agreement as to everything, because I guess we don't have the original agreement that the county has with Rogers Group, because we're subleased.
Okay.
And so she was supposed to get that and the plot plan to see what we're responsible for, but I would like to recommend a committee to look at our future plans, what we should do based on what they're doing at the Comer House, the Comer Barn, and whether based on a org chart, based on traffic into the building, whether that is the best position for tourism for the county. So, because I look at the expense side, I mean, the amount of money we spend every year when we through it, that concerns, just red flag concerns. So, for what we're supposed to be doing, I mean, our visibility is not good.
I think it's a good location itself between government. There's still on the main routes. If we move out of there to someplace else, we're going to pay a high rent, which we're not paying right now.
But look at it, the other expenses of maintaining the building, they're just going to get worse as the years progress. And that's where we're trying to get the full agreement with
I understand.
the county to find out what our responsibilities are as maintenance, and really maybe renegotiate it if we have
Well,
to.
Rogers Group has always been very good about doing major repairs.
They are until something comes up. Everybody's good until something.
They've done, I mean, when trees have come down on the roof, they've repaired it. I mean, over the years, they have always been very good about conducting
I'm
major
just
repairs. My understanding is that's part of the agreement, but we don't have a copy of the agreement.
we don't have a copy of the agreement. Also, if the plans for the Comer Barn are one that it's going to be a marketplace, I agree with you that that location is ideal. However, is the building ideal, or is it some way we can incorporate a visitor center within what they're doing with the Comer Barn to give greater visitation through the building as to communication, as to getting people information all the way through. Our point of marketing is within the building. I don't know what the traffic is in the building. I don't know if you register guests when they walk in, but how many do you?
It's not significant.
Yeah. How many would you say a week or a month?
Probably about 15 groups a week. Couples, 15 couples, 15 groups of people.
So, I mean, I agree with you that that location on that road is ideal. I wouldn't say that the way we present ourselves is ideal. I think we could look at, that's why I suggest putting the committee together to look at the whole way about how we present ourselves and our position.
Okay. So your recommendation, so a subcommittee?
The subcommittee.
Made up how? Just out of curiosity. How
Well,
many
it depends
members?
who wants to volunteer for the subcommittee. I'm willing to volunteer for the subcommittee, work hand in hand with the executive director as to garner the information, but just bringing it back to this body to recommendations as to where we see ourselves a year, 2 years, 5 years from now. You know, I don't know if we have a long-term or even a short-term plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So, from, as far as the subcommittee goes, we can definitely, put a subcommittee together. You're interested in chairing that subcommittee. Okay. And how many people do you think would be good to be on this subcommittee? I don't know what we call it in the bylaws. It says exactly how many people are required for a subcommittee.
I looked, it doesn't say, it just says you can have subcommittees.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to putting a subcommittee together to review that. Is somebody interested in being a member of that subcommittee, or do we need to just make some assignments to the subcommittee?
Post-meeting, send a note out.
Yeah, I mean,
We got 3 members who aren't here.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So,
That means they volunteered.
Yeah. The old-fashioned way.
So, before we motion, let's talk through this. We're talking about putting together a subcommittee. To review and make recommendations on utilization of the location.
Yep, present, short-term, long-term. And like you had shared, part of it is getting all the information, the proper paperwork, the documents, and you can really give it, making sure he has it on file. So if there is any question, there's nothing we can do, but we may want to tighten up, and again, it goes hand in hand with legal counsel, may want to tighten up the documents.
Yes. Okay. And you're recommending, not recommending, but you're volunteering to lead that subcommittee. So, assemble a subcommittee to review and make recommendations on how to utilize the location in the short term and in the long term. The action is going to be to send out a notice to the board gauging interest in volunteering to be a part of that subcommittee, and then during the next board meeting we will make assignments based on people's feedback. So everybody agree that that's what, okay? And that Eric is volunteering to be the chair for the subcommittee. Okay, did I get it all? Okay. All right, so I guess we'll make a motion to approve Eric Janicki to chair a subcommittee to review and make recommendations on short and long-term utilization of location, and that we will seek volunteers and make a decision on who will be members of the subcommittee during the next board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I just thought it was sorry. I hope somebody takes a minute.
That's okay. All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
Go ahead.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. All right, so Eric, would you mind sending out the email to the board, just with details on what you're looking to accomplish, and we'll gauge interest and we'll talk about that in the next board meeting. right, were there any other topics that you wanted to
Yeah,
cover?
there was,
Yep.
I don't know if it would be a committee or whatever, but to put time aside to get a full review of the market plan, the web design. You know, I don't know how to start on that, but as to, I don't know if we have a market plan.
Yeah, I would say just schedule time with Mark, and
Okay.
he can review.
And the analytics, really reviewing one of the board members of the board meeting, the analytics of the website, page views, how to get in deep, what is utilized, what isn't, to see if there, if the team's having a redesign.
Yeah, so I would say if there's any details you want to
Yeah.
cover in the director's report, just provide that to Mark, so that he can prepare that for the next board meeting. But then if there's any specifics that you want to review, then feel free to schedule time with Mark to talk through that. It's not a committee or
Okay.
anything like that. All right, let's go ahead and move to the director's report.
Okay, there's a colorful page, except yours is black and white, so it looks like this. This was a recent study done. What's interesting about this one is the number one item for, this is rating attractions, looking into 2025, and the forecast for attractions visited is staying flat year over year, but the number one thing that people want to visit in the way of attractions are historic landmarks, which happens to be one of the strengths of our county with all the historic sites that we have. So that is definitely something that we are working with the Historic Collaborative, is what they're called now, to help bring them together into one group and market them as a group so that we can make the most of this new trend. So I'd like to share that with you. I included a copy of the proposed budget as it stands right now. There may be some minor changes to that, but I want to present that to you before we go to the budget committee. I'm happy to field any questions about it. It is flat year over year in the sense of expenditures. We're not changing anything. We're not requesting a penny more than we did last year.
Are we going to get an ARP grant?
Yes,
This will be the last year for that one.
this will be the last year for it, yes.
I thought.
Mark, are we reviewing the whole report, or?
We're just reviewing the budget.
Is there anything we spent money on last year from like a print standpoint that we didn't feel was incredibly good use of our time, or we might be able to reinvest that into digital or social media?
Yes, last year we advertised in the Nashville Travel Guide,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think we're going to do that in the coming year. We didn't feel like that was enough value. We can accomplish a lot more with some targeted advertising, either digitally or in print magazines and so forth.
And how do you measure the ROI of those things?
It's tough with those. It's, the only number we have is their distribution. We did put a QR code in there, but it's, it's not a significant link. If you've ever flipped through one of those guides, everything in Tennessee is in there.
Yeah.
Including, multi-page Hollywood and Pigeon Forge and all the things. And even though we have a sizable ad in there, Sumner County just doesn't jump out as, oh, I'm glad I saw that one, let's go there. That's just not the way it works, so.
Well, I remember in my time, they were called brochure boxes, and it was the advertising ploy from those organizations was, hey, he's doing it, so you should do it.
Right.
And one time we went to see what the ROI was, how many people went in and eliminated very quickly, because it is it's not measurable at all. And unless you are the big fish in Hollywood, you're not getting visibility. Or unless you have some vibrant ad that's really going to bring somebody to what your messaging is.
Right.
So I agree with you fully on that.
So that's probably the one big change in advertising. I'd like to eliminate that one, and then just we'll do different targeting coming year.
What's that, $10,000 charge?
Yeah, it's, let's see.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, 10,000.
Yep, it's not cheap.
Listen at 8 and 2.
It is the, yeah, we say it zeroed out in this one, Natural Vacation Guide. I want to say it was about,
I remember thinking that one.
it was 8 to 10, somewhere in there, yeah.
Does this eliminate the job for Heidi?
For distribution?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
But I do have a question about the occupancy taxes. Is there a way that we can get what, year by year, what the variances were, what 2 years ago was? I know COVID was before that, so you eliminate that, but what it was last year, what it is this year. Also, do they work in arrears? I mean, how up to date are they in paying the occupancy tax to us?
My understanding from the county is that everybody is current except for Holiday Inn Express, but they didn't tell me how in arrears they are.
Yeah, I mean, being current is then paying paying to the county or to the state.
Right.
But as to us receiving funds, how far back, when do we get what fund, when do?
We receive funds quarterly.
Okay, for which period?
It's a flat rate. It's determined by the budget up front, so.
I mean, is it, like this quarter, we get for the prior quarter, or 2 quarters before?
It's not, our payment's
The
based
period.
off the budget that's approved by the county commission, that's my understanding. And so it's not gonna vary based on occupancy tax, once it's approved. Yeah.
The occupancy tax goes to the county, not to us.
Yes.
Okay. So we just get a budget amount from the county?
Yes,
Yes.
correct. And that comes in 4 quarterly payments.
Yeah. And occupancy tax is a consideration when the budget is being determined.
Absolutely.
It's not. Yeah.
When, Mr. Janicki, when they set up the tourism board in 17, they did it under a private act. So it's a minimum budget of 325 or 350.
Something like that, that's state law.
Yes, and that comes from the occupancy taxes. So they raised, over the years, they've raised that amount, and so where it sits now for 763, I haven't looked at the number.
731.
731, that must remain the same again this year, or we lose the ARPA money. When they gave the ARPA money, they required that we do a
Not release funds in order to do the money.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad, but in the bylaws, one of the purposes we have is to strengthen the local economy through hotel occupancy tax revenues, visitor-generated local tax revenues. So there's no skin in the game for us.
Historically, the idea has been that many people have believed that the tourism board should get all of the occupancy tax, which we're getting about half.
Yeah.
So
So there's no incentive for us.
no, so saying that we shouldn't do something because it raises the occupancy, or we should only do something that's going to raise the occupancy tax, really has no bearing on us.
Yeah. But as to the revenues from it, there's no incentive for us to increase.
Well, that's true, okay, yeah, so
Direct
there's no direct incentive, however, as the tourism board, it's in our interest to help improve
Most
occupancy
certainly, most
taxes,
It's
so,
what we dream about at night.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I'm just looking at it from revenue sources.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, as far as the tourism board's concerned, it's not something we have to worry about much, because it's going to happen.
Now, that said, right, we should be looking at, like if we're providing funding for activities, right, those activities where we're looking at, are we bringing people, from outside of that 50-mile radius into Sumner County is going to be important, but that doesn't mean if somebody comes from 50 miles away, while they're spending money here, that may have literally no impact on occupancy tax at all because they're not staying overnight. So it's also in our interest to be considering activities that will promote overnight stays in the area as well. So those are decisions that we have to make to focus on how do we help other local municipalities participate in that as well. Like Westmoreland, for example, and all the hotels they have.
Yeah. That's what I dream about. But it would help to have like festivals there 2 and 3 days, that way.
Oh, yeah,
Food comes
absolutely.
today, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The more activities that we can, drive into Sumner County, the more beneficial it's going to be from a tax perspective. But, occupancy tax isn't the only motivator, and it's not the only reason tourism exists.
We're paying people to distribute our literature, brochures, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I was at the welcome station at Crossville, I believe, recently, and I looked around, I didn't see anything for Sumner County there.
Okay. They're supposed to notify us when they're out.
Yeah.
We will. We have the new ones are actually being printed as we speak.
Okay.
They started
Just
printing.
make sure they go there, because that's the closest welcome station we've got to Sumner County, so.
Yeah,
40
so,
anyway.
yeah, no, that's a good question. I do have a question about the contract that we have with Phillips Distribution. Are there specific metrics or SLAs that they're required to meet for us? Should they be monitoring those and making sure that they're there?
That's not a Phillips distribution point. They have a list that they distribute to. It's mostly hotels and venues and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
We have to ship them to the welcome centers.
Oh, got it, okay. And so so you're saying the welcome centers are responsible?
Yeah, they're supposed to notify us when they run out of something or get low, and so if you
They
didn't.
could have been somewhere else, but I didn't see them in their
It's a good possibility.
in their
It's perfect.
brochures,
Okay.
one of the brochures.
What's the spend on brochures? I can't find it right now.
On distribution or on print?
No, printing.
Would that be under printing and publication?
Yeah, printing and publications.
26,000.
It says 20.
Our tourism guide this year is gonna be about 13,500. We're printing 20,000 copies. That's down from previous years. There were about 35,000 printed. I don't know the exact number. We have a lot of leftovers. So.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what's the shelf life.
Well, it's 1 year.
I'm sorry,
It's 1 year.
1 year.
We print a new one every year. But I talked to Phillips today, and they distributed 80 cases this year of our tourism guide in Sumner County. And he says it's one of the most popular guides. It runs out more than a lot of the other brochures they distribute. So it's still a viable method of getting the word out. But we're not going to print the same number we did last year because I have several dozen cases sitting in the storage unit that are.
Do they run a report for us of what places distribution centers produce, give how much, and what
I don't think it's
restocking
specific.
is?
They don't list how many are restocked at each visit, but they can tell me how many as a whole they distributed over the year.
So they can't break it down by
No, we've asked her
person,
that.
center?
Yeah, do you mean Phillips?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's asking, what's in their agreement, what's in the agreement with them, or what they're required to provide to us, and I'm wondering, do we need to make an amendment to that agreement to?
They're not
get
capable of doing that,
better
they just
information?
don't track it that way.
Okay.
I asked them for that, because
So their job is distribution only?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Can they give us a list of where they distribute?
I do have that.
Okay.
Are there other companies that can do that? That can keep?
I would imagine there are, but they own the distribution racks in the hotel.
Oh, okay.
So they're the ones to work with,
Okay.
it depends where you want to distribute them, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the hotels have done away with that. If you go to the hotels in
Yeah.
Hendersonville, there are no racks.
Yeah.
So it is a dying breed. That's why we went from 30,000 to 20,000.
Sure.
Okay.
No, and that's really where I'm gauging from and again, major city versus around here probably usage is a little higher, but most chain hotels have eliminated them totally, so.
I was at a Drury Inn in South Carolina, and they had like 2 brochures.
Yeah.
For the
Two different things.
What were they?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I wasn't sticking around, but I just remember they had, now when I went to the counter, they had like one corner of the counter, they had like two short, small stacks of brochures.
Oh, and they were the same brochure.
No, they were different,
Were two different
different things. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I stayed there, but I
Oh, a
didn't.
brochure.
wasn't going anywhere.
So, I mean, you nailed it when you said it's a dying breed. I mean, that is,
Before you came on board here, we did review the study that has been done, showing that actually Gen Z is actually increasing again in brochure distribution and wanting something printed in front of them. But from basically the baby boomers, there's a gap between there and Gen Z.
yeah.
But it is resurfacing a little bit, and we're watching those trends.
That's 100% true. I mean, I was literally just
Yeah.
got back from a cruise, and the only people that had like the printed materials that are on the cruise ship are these Gen Z people. I'm like, what the heck, dude? Yeah, like nobody else wants that, but they were. So I agree with that. It's just bizarre. Anyway, okay. So maybe in the next director's report, just in the appendix, just include a list of where they're distributing. Sure. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, just to get an idea.
And we need to approve this proposed budget now.
We do, yeah. Are there any additional questions about it? I just want to make sure everybody had asked any questions they had around the
I
budget.
guess all of it is seeing last year's versus side by side, seeing where the variances are from the budget year to year. That's one of the things, it's very hard. I'm not questioning anything in the line items, but, or where it's managed, but, what are the variances year over year? See if anything
I can
pops
tell you
out.
that everything is the same except for the tourism grant went down from 40-something thousand to 23,000, which is more realistic. That's a number that's shared around the state, and this year we received 23,000 instead of the potential 45,000. So I lowered that number. I don't believe we'll ever get more than that from them because they're focused on some of the more rural counties. And so as a result of that, I reduced, let's see if I can remember where I reduced it here.
Is that the heritage thing?
No, Heritage is flat year over year.
Which one was that? I missed it.
Which one was reduced? Oh, it's the marketing.
Mark, okay.
Yeah. I believe it was sponsorship.
So from the, I guess you could say from the total business interest checking assets, I guess total bank account assets, or the first part, what is the difference year over year? Has it increased, has it lowered, has it?
In the balance sheet?
Yeah, the balance sheet, it just says assets, and it says,
Oh, are we moving on from the budget to?
oh, I guess, I thought it was part of the budget.
No,
You're looking at the P&L on balance sheet.
I don't know exactly that number, but I know we ended last year with excess funds that we budgeted that we're going to use, so probably this year a little higher than the year before. And we will probably finish this year, I probably will not use the entire budget this year. We'll probably have excess funds left over.
I have a question for you. Shannon mentioned the Heritage Marketing Grants.
Mhm.
They stayed the same as from last year?
Yes.
Are they based on how much people are asking for, or?
There's a variety of criteria, but primarily they have to sell us on what they're going to use it for.
Okay.
And we also look and see who's received them in the past as opposed to, for fairness issues. We also look at who's for-profit, who's non-profit, and things.
Then those Trousdale Place didn't have it for several years because they were not open, they were only open by appointment.
Yeah.
But now they're open more hours, so I'm glad to see they're getting something.
Yeah, and the majority of those dollars that go out come right back to us because they advertise in the tourism guide.
The Bridal House has got nothing, have they ever gotten anything?
No,
You're not
because they're never open. There's
Okay.
nobody there.
Gotcha, they're another situation where it's by
By
appointment,
appointment
okay,
only.
gotcha.
So we received the Heritage Marketing Grant in tourism receives it and then you distribute it?
No,
Or
you're talking about two different grants.
Oh.
There's a marketing grant that comes from the state,
Right,
and that is just top line revenues,
uh-huh,
and added in with ARP and
yeah.
county money. The Heritage Marketing Grant is a grant that we created, that we pay out to the historic sites.
Oh, I guess I didn't understand that. I thought that was Heritage was something,
No, it's a grant that we created,
so
and we
fund it,
fund it,
and we
and
got.
most of them, not all, pay it back to us for an
Okay.
ad in the tourism guide. Some of them use it for
okay.
other purposes, for other events.
So for the grant that we get from the state, do we have to show them any, do they require any specific, how we do
Oh,
the
yes.
expenditures? And
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very stringent.
Okay, I noticed also you've got no budget for the Irish Festival. You plan to not do that next year, I take it.
I will find that money somewhere else. We're gonna do it on a much bigger scale, but there's other money in here.
Because the last couple of years we did it, it was really very popular.
It's my intention to do a multi-day event. I wanna fill the hotels. Even though we're not motivated by that.
But at the end, right, the Irish Festival can be bigger than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Irish Festival that I'm trying to mirror is the one in Atlanta. It's a 3-day event, and it has classes, performances, food, crafts. It's a big deal. And I've already, like we've talked about, Aer Lingus is on board to join us from the airline to help support it. I've talked to anything Irish. I've even talked to Lucky Charms, okay? I'm sorry, but I'm weird that way. I've gone after everybody. So I may have a Lucky Charms guy running around.
We just need to have it the weekend before the Nashville
Yeah.
Irish Festival, which is not all that big anymore. It used to be something.
But we intend to go big this year. And by saying that, we're gonna start now for next year, so we can get everybody on board.
Good.
Right.
You know, it allows us to capitalize
Sure.
it naturally. It's getting a little big, and I'm looking at the smaller rides.
That's right.
Are we sponsoring the Highland Games here in Hendersonville this year?
We do add to that, partially,
Okay.
not fully.
I know, but we, yeah, people, yeah.
Sure. So just real quick, we've had enough time, I think, to review the budget. I think people are interested in looking at some other things. Why don't we get a motion to approve the budget?
Let me ask
Yep.
one more thing
Yep.
before, because this was gonna come up later in the director's report, but
Mhm.
I'm asking for money from the board, from our surplus, to do the repairs on the building that need to be done. And it's been suggested that maybe we add that into the budget and go to the county with that number as part of the budget.
Mhm. What was that amount again? I'm sorry.
It was about 10,800, and probably some small change for the rental and lift, so, I'd say around $12,000 is the best quote we've gotten so far.
Do we have the money to do it now?
We have excess funds far beyond that from last year.
And there should be, there's no reason to put it in next year's budget if we're gonna do it this year.
It's up to the board on that one.
Yeah.
I defer to you.
Okay, so do we need to have a separate motion for approving that, or?
Well, let's, you didn't put it in this year's budget, this
It
budget.
is not in that proposed budget. This was a last minute change that I'd like to throw in there and get your opinion on.
I mean, I would say if we're responsible for the repairs according to the sublease and they need to be done and we have to budget to do it, we should probably do it. Yeah,
Is there a
I mean, regardless of what our long-term.
Did I make a motion to approve this, or did somebody? If not,
I
No
was
one
just
has-
asking for a motion to.
No one
approve
has motioned to approve the budget,
The proposed budget, that's what I thought.
so if we need I will make a motion to approve the budget with the additional 12,000 for the repair to the Comer House.
You talking about the proposed budget
Yes.
for next year?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Well, what I understand, that money is already available.
We've got the money to do it this year.
We wouldn't put it in next year's budget.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Well, not only was I late.
No, that's okay.
Let me
So,
do it again.
so we'll have two motions.
We've had several discussions, so, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have
Okay.
two motions.
So I will motion to accept the proposed budget for next year.
I second that.
Okay.
All right. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So next item is when you're done.
To repair the Sumner County.
repair the,
What are we gonna do?
But that's in his report somewhere probably, isn't it?
is it coming up in your report?
There's mention of it in there.
Oh, okay, okay,
We
all right.
can-
So we've
we
done
can
the
either wait, or
budget
we can
now.
just
Okay.
motion to approve right now, since we just talked about it.
No, well, I'm gonna stop, because I didn't know we were ahead.
No, it's fine. All right, so, I will make a motion to approve the, repairs on the Comer House based on the information that Mark just provided to us.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I kind of skipped over the packet, but did you want any discussion about the P and L or the?
Yeah, we don't need to approve that, we just wanted to approve that. So let's have a look at the P&L, and you can give us the highlights on it.
This number on there does not include the recent payment for the third quarter occupancy tax from the county. So that number is now more like $580,000, as opposed to the $365 that just happened 2 days ago. I don't know if you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them as best I can.
I guess is there any way to do a P&L that really shows where we are compared to what either the budget was or so there's a measurement? I mean, stating the numbers doesn't, you really would have to go look at old data to see how it, is there a way to put what, a column as to what the budget is? And I guess this is year to date, because it's not the full fiscal year.
Yeah, it's July, March 18th.
Yeah, so you have that, but at least we can gauge whether we're going to meet the budget expectations or fall short in certain areas, wherever the variances are, or surpluses, that you could use the funds for other things. Hopefully that's the latter.
It is the latter. We're absolutely below budget in every category.
So, but it gives us the ability to say, hey, you've got this extra funds, let's do special projects.
Next meeting, we'll have the comparison to budget.
So it wouldn't really be,
But I can report that we're under budget.
it would be something else.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I can report that we're under budget in every section of the P&L.
You know, where you are.
And you'll have that for the next board meeting?
Yeah, or if you want, I can send it out by email and give it to you, this week. If you want to have that in your hands. We just won't be able to discuss it.
Yeah, that's fine for the
Next meeting.
Yep.
Is that in all categories, you said?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other discussion on the finances? You want to just walk through occupancy tax very
Let
briefly?
me talk about that at the end, a bit more. You can keep those aside if you want, but
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to talk about that in my report.
Okay, perfect.
I did include a marketing plan. It has a lot of aspects of how we're marketing. There's a lot of information here. I did include a lot of the metrics that we use and measurements that we use, because that's been a question. So you can have that to refer to. This is for this fiscal year. I don't anticipate a lot of changes for 25, 26, but that should give you a good idea of what we're doing and how we're doing it. There are no actual results listed here, it's just the plan.
Okay.
Is this something we can go visit with you and just deep dive it?
If you'd like,
Okay,
my door is open.
all right.
All right, so getting into the director's report itself. We do have on board now Kendall Serapis, who's our new director of business development, replacing Maddie. Kendall is a resident of Portland. She has a degree in natural resources and conservation wildlife management. She's been a guest lecturer at MIT. What I was looking for in that position was somebody that can really be a great face to the community and has great presence and speaking abilities, and she is top-notch and has jumped in with some great ideas already, so
Good.
Thrilled with her. I'd also like to welcome Taylor Jones, our new administrative assistant. Taylor is a resident of Hendersonville, and she has a strong background in addition to administration in event planning and social media. And she has a degree in hospitality management at UNLV. So, again, another strong person coming in to be more than just an admin assistant. We've already discussed the Comer House, so I'm not going to
So,
go into that.
and I had emailed you about org chart,
Yeah.
because I'm not familiar with this staffing or
Okay.
who reports.
We're
to
missing
who.
one person, and that's my marketing person. It's going to be my social media guru. And
But
I'm
is there a way to, a org chart, meaning who reports to whom and what their responsibilities are?
They all report to me. I'm not sure what you're looking for.
Okay, so it's just top bottom, straight down?
Me, and then the rest of the team.
Okay. So
That's
is
it.
it?
There's 4 of us.
Just 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Marketing and advertising, some of this is from 2 meetings ago that we didn't have quorum, so I'm just keeping it in there. But we are waiting for things to green up, and we're going to start the Huck Studio digital image photography and video capture going around the county. And that's going to be exciting. They are top-notch. They're going to provide us with all kinds of content to use, as well as our partners who will be able to access it whenever they need to pull a good picture. So that's coming. We talked in November about identifying a bank account with a higher yield, and the question came up if we had a bank that was part of the collateral pool. Our current bank is not, so I would like the board's permission to identify a bank that is in the collateral pool, move my account over there, and open a money market account for our excess
What is the
funds.
collateral pool?
So Baker, in my county financial officer classes, FDIC only insures up to $250,000. So the collateral pool are banks that counties can use, that if the one bank goes under, we get all of our money back. And it's insured. It's a lower interest rate, but it's insured to the full amount of what we have. And an example is in our audit report last summer, our audit report here, one of our offices got dinged from the comptroller's office because the amount of money that she could have in one bank was more than the FDIC because it was not in the collateral pool bank. So I called David Bawling and made sure, even though we're a 501c6, we're separate, his recommendation was we go to a bank in the collateral pool because we are taking the citizens' money and investing it, so to be responsible stewards of that money, to have it in the collateral pool bank. So that was on me.
My only suggestion, I don't know if you've looked at the ones that are in the collateral pool or not. Are we going to get a list of those to decide what to do, or are you going to do that?
I have a list. I don't have it with me. Pretty much all of them that you can name are.
Because my preference
Just
would be
Edmonton and
a bank here in Sumner County, we not be
Oh,
going to
absolutely.
some bank out across country.
No. It would actually be, I believe Naked Bank and Trust is in there. I believe that Chase is in there. I'm trying to remember some of the names here in town.
I'm just surprised that Edmonton's not in there.
Yeah, I was too. Wilson Bank and Trust, I believe, is in there. Yeah. So then it came down to just looking at the best rate.
Gotcha.
But I need your permission to do that.
So move, that we give him the authorization to move the account to a money market account that's in the collateral pool.
Aye, second that. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Yeah, and money market rates are all over the place.
And
Edmonton's is not one of the highest.
I won't be able to do this until our next meeting when the minutes are ratified.
Sure.
Yep.
It's a long process.
Oh gosh, I've got to get them real quick. Oh no, we have
You
to
have
get
2 months.
together. Move to, what was your motion, Baker? Move to?
To authorize Mark to move the money, the account to a bank that is part of the collateral pool and put it in a money market account.
Okay. Moving on to sponsorships, just wanted to report, we've had a couple in the last month and we've paid out. Getting ready to do several more as Hendersonville Parks and Rec has got their season finalized now. And we're going to support some of their events. We did lose a couple large events through Parks and Recreation because they went to the other end of the state, which is going to be a cyclical move. We'll get them back.
Yeah, cross country.
Yeah, cross country, that's a big one. But we just got word today of a new one that's coming in August for 2 or 3 days that is a new one for us, so that will help pick up some money there. We are using our points-based system with Everett's applying, and we have rejected a few applications as a result because they just had no clue what they were doing and wanted to use our money to rent porta potties and that sort of thing. The AI Tennessee Initiative, I am excited about this. UT is leading this up. It's a statewide initiative, and they are basically trying to determine what AI is going to mean in the state of Tennessee. And they're using a variety of industries and public and private partners. And when I read about this, I emailed them and said, I'd like to be your tourism guy. And they said, that would be awesome. So we had a conversation with Dr., don't ask me to pronounce his name. He's Greek. He made that very clear. He has already connected me with several people in the university area there that are in the tourism industry and in finance and research. And our first project is to do, let me back up and I'll get to this again later, but when we want to propose a new hotel coming into the county, which is something I've been talking about, trying to get a convention-sized hotel here in the county. The first step to do that, after you identify a potential location, which has been done by the city of Gallatin, is to then get a feasibility study done. Usually that costs $30,000 to $50,000 through a company like some accounting firm like PKF or whatever. And they come back with a cut and paste document that you can take to your lenders and say, yes, it's feasible, and here's how, here's your 5-year projections and so forth, right? The exciting part of this AI is that we're going to have AI do a feasibility study for this location, working with the University of Tennessee and all the components of that, and have it produce that. And this will be a new experiment. Everybody is really excited about this. So, when they have the model, the AI model built, let me know so I can look at it. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm certified in generative AI. So I would like to look at the model and see what's included in it, make sure that I'm comfortable with it. Cool. I just want to have a look at it. Yeah,
okay.
For sure. So that's just the beginning, but basically anything we want to do, anything we do as a business in the office, it's not just help me write my letter better. Really, AI is really just taking bounds and leaps forward. So we're looking for ways to use that to become more efficient, more accurate, and to extend our skills. Yeah. So this is an exciting thing to be a part of.
This is a good organization to work with as well. UT is really focusing on Gen AI. Actually, I'm having lunch on Saturday with the dean of the technology department who has AI. So, yeah. Okay, cool.
The historic site has kicked off. They have a new logo, and we are doing the kickoff next week, I believe. Well, we're not producing the documents next week. In 2 weeks is the kickoff for the season of all the historic sites, and we are the ones that help them rebrand and create that new logo, and we're leading their membership meetings. We're helping to coordinate all their calendar events, and we are working on creating a passport that's digital and print that people can use to visit the historic sites in the county, and all kinds of things like that. So just be aware that's what we're doing there. And here's a couple of samples of their new logo. We're also working with the Sumner County Museum on their Hidden History Passport, which is an annual event as well. And we'll be helping them with that.
Is there a time period for the people to complete their?
Yeah, it's all in one day.
it's all in one, so it's like Parade of Homes kind of only for historic sites.
Exactly, and all the sites are free that day, and a lot of them are doing special events and having speakers come or whatever, food, it's all over the place. Yeah, we're happy to be leading that up, and they're happy to have us doing that. We had Tennessee Songwriters Week, I just threw a picture in there, that happens to be State Commissioner of Tourism Development, Mark Gazelle, on the stage there at the Showcase Theater at the Temple Theater in Portland. And great event, everything went off without a hitch, and very well attended. By the time it was really going, there were no seats there, so happy to be a part of that. While at the Temple Theater, I found out about this piano. I don't know if you've ever heard of this piano, some of you have. I had never heard of such a thing. This is a piano that's made in, I believe, Austria, and it's a Bosendorfer. Is that how you say that? I don't know. Okay. It has an extra octave of keys. If you look at that picture, there's, at the low end there, to the left, there's some black keys. There's a whole extra octave of keys on that piano that typical pianos do not have. And this is an extended grand concert piano, and this alone new would cost $300,000 for this unit, and it was basically donated for dirt money to that theater. And,
Wonderful.
but nobody's using it. So we talked about creating a concert series and getting some big name concert pianists here, because anybody who's anybody in the pianist world would love to play that piano.
As long as it's in tune.
It's into, it is amazing.
The best guy to do that's in Portland.
Yeah, do we have to pay for the tuning?
No,
Good.
it's already done. Wow. So we're gonna build a concert series around that. You're gonna see some big names come into that theater. I
Cool.
guarantee it. So let's talk about occupancy tax.
There's actually some decent concerts coming to Temple Theater this year.
Yeah, they've got a good series.
Always.
Yeah, now that
We,
Like
we're
Deanna
there
Carter
a lot.
and some other people, dang, yeah.
So the rumblings that we're seeing in the county is, oh, occupancy taxes are down this year, so everything's falling apart, tourism sucks. Okay, that is not the case. And so I've got some statistics and some information for you here so you can really see the truth of that. There has been a decline in hotel tax revenues, and it's resulting from economic factors. Consumer spending is down. It's a cyclical pattern in every election year. I've been in the industry for 40 years. Hotels, every 4 years when there's an election, they drop. Right now, hotel is down, I believe, about 13% for the year from last year in occupancies or in revenues. That's not anything to get excited about. It's just the way it is. Our county's hotels are mostly economy and mid-scale. We have no luxury hotels, and those are the two segments that struggled the most in 2024 and in the first part of 2025. That's because the price-conscious travelers are traveling less, and they're traveling for shorter periods of time.
How much new inventory is coming to market?
Here,
Yeah.
only the Echo Suites.
In all of Sumner County?
Yeah, in the last 2 years.
Okay. So, so the inventory isn't a factor.
No. The only thing that impacted was the tornado took out the Holiday Inn Express. So,
Yeah. They did a nice job of the renovation.
So, for your information, we've done the research. Wilson, Robertson, Putnam, Williamson, and Rutherford counties all are also down. Some of them a lot worse off than we are. That's year over year.
Business
Statewide-
travel's down too. Like-
Right. Statewide occupancy tax is down 2.5% year over year. Fluent travelers are the strongest segment who are still traveling, but we have no upscale or luxury properties in this market. And that's why I'm pushing to get us a convention hotel, so we can have upscale travelers, because it balances the scale when things like this happen. Now, if you look at the tourism pie, lodging represents 16% of tourism dollars. That's really important to understand. And I understand it's our funding, so that's important because we want the funds. But it's only 16% of tourism revenue that goes into the county. So the rest of it is hit by sales tax. So when you're looking at the success of tourism in the county, you have to consider sales tax and tourism and occupancy tax. If you're not, you're only measuring 16% of the pie, and that's not a good way to choose it. So amusement and recreation and eating and drinking are up 5.6% year over year in Sumner County. And so the total hospitality and leisure tax for Sumner County is actually up this year with an increase of $1.6 million over last year. So even though hotels are down, we've made it up and then some. And I've got some sources there so you can know where I get this stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what is the source?
It's all right there.
Is it Zartico or?
No, this is all from the state.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Increasing.
We have access to state data.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
we partner with them.
Yeah. Increasing local economic impact, the percentage that visitors are spend towards local business increased in February from 60% to 62%. That's a significant number because that 2% means more visitors are spending money than the locals. And that's also a good trend for tourism. May not be the best trend for the county, but it's good for us because it means we're bringing more people into the county and they're spending money. And that shows a shift in spending patterns.
So are they showing us that the day traveler is increased for Sumner County?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yes, that's where it's at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it again goes back to the web design and the purposing is how do we shift to address the new demand cycle versus old?
Right. It's knowing our customer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're seeing a notable shift where visitors spend their time. The percentage of visitors engaging with outdoor recreation increased from 37% to 47%. Year over year, that's a 10% increase. And every study I read says everybody is moving to the country, if you will, for their vacations. They want to learn how to milk a cow. They want to do goat yoga. They want to ride the tractor. So we are pushing hard with agritourism. And when I say that, is we are having to help create the destination. And that's our role. If we could create it, they will come. Okay?
That's a perfect city.
I heard that. Yeah. So we're actually going out, and that's Kendall, one of her jobs is business development, is to go out to the farmers in the county and say, hey, what do you do here? And have you ever thought about having visitors come and pay you to see you do it? And there's a lot of that. And it's not just farmers, but we've got a gentleman over here on the lake that builds historic boats. And he says, yeah, people come up there all the time and check it out. Like, have you ever thought about having a class and charging for it? And so we're creating destinations. And as we create destinations, we're going to create that flow of people into the county. Because we're never going to be Nashville. But I can sure beat, let's see, Rutherford, Robertson, Wilson, Putnam. I'm after them. I'm on their tail. And that's my goal here. So that's just a summary of kind of the information. And those last two statistics did come from Zartico. Then I included the Zartico snapshot, the executive pulse for you to have to digest if you want that. One last thing I just want to show you.
With Zartico, who is this for interviews? Is this at airports? What is this on our website or what's
Credit card and phone data.
This is credit card and spending and phone tracking, telephone tracking. This is our data research that we pay dearly for, so we know who our customer is, where they're coming from, what they do while they're here, and where they go when they leave. So this is a snapshot designed for boards, actually, because this company is made by somebody who is a tourism guy, and he knows what it means to have a board. So developed this report for you. We can deep dive into that and take up a whole week of your time if you want. My last item, just for fun, this is a 25-pound cannonball replica that we got for the Douglas Clark House that they put out there so people can see what a cannonball feels like. Just came in with a package. So if you want to try and lift it up, I brought it for you so you can go ahead and put it out there.
Is see him at the gym every day.
But, that's something that we've added. We're getting some good traffic out there, and that place is, if you haven't been out recently, but you've been before, go check it out. It's gotten better and better. I was blown away by how much it's changed. Any questions I can answer for you?
As far as agritourism goes, okay, we talked about that a little bit. Are you gonna have like a more comprehensive plan for how you're gonna execute like that? I mean, yeah, going out to farmers and talking to them is good, but like, are you considering doing seminars or anything like that, where you're inviting?
We are looking at every possible aspect because it's something new. I did join the Tennessee I think it's Tennessee Agritourism Association.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to a meeting yet because they don't have that often, but, right now we're kind of just gathering information and looking at what our potentials are. So we are literally out there sometimes driving the road through the county, seeing what signs there are and what's out there, because a lot of these people just aren't letting us know what they do.
It's right now, like every farm with a barn is trying to get into a wedding venue.
Yeah, yeah. I got wind the other day of this gentleman here that does grafting on trees, and he holds classes to teach how to graft trees.
Are you talking about Farmer Dave?
I don't know his name, but
Yeah, so in Sumner County off of Bridge Road.
yes, Rock Ridge, that's it.
Yeah, he's the largest pecan tree distributor in the nation.
We don't grow pecan.
And, yeah, he's also, yeah, I know all about him. My wife was his, she worked for him for a while. But yeah, he's also a member of the Sumner County Beekeepers Association and does a lot of other stuff with that. But
Beekeeping is a huge deal in Sumner County.
it's a huge deal, in Sumner County. And so, yeah, also if you need some connections with Sumner County Beekeepers Association, let me know.
Yeah, so we're going after all of it, trying to identify opportunities, again, to create destinations, and then market them.
One place that they can market, if they've got like animals and want people to visit, is special needs groups.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge deal, is with special needs kids, to get them out into the community and to interact with animals. Because for a lot of them, interacting with animals is very therapeutic.
Yeah. I think we have a huge potential there.
Does anybody know if Flicks still have their
I don't think so.
farm?
It's
They have a
still
sign
there.
still.
The sign's up, but I don't.
Because they used to have a petting zoo there where
Oh, my
people
kids
could
went there.
come, school groups, and everybody would go in there and do petting zoo, but, he worked for Ernst in the construction business, so I don't know if they got that, I don't think they've got it going.
We're gonna talk to them. That's on our list, because I drive by it. Any other questions I can answer for you?
I know we talked about dark tourism a little bit in the prior meeting. Is there anything additional that you're focusing on?
We are still pursuing it. We presented that to the historic sites, and it wasn't very well received. But I'm going to present it at the next meeting and help them perceive it better, because I still believe in it.
So does the entire city of New Orleans, by the way. Because that's literally all you can find is
Ghost tours.
vampire and voodoo and ghost tours.
Been on
That's
one,
your fault.
yeah.
Maybe
We've got a ghost tour in Gallatin.
Yes.
It happens usually in the fall.
Well, I did a ghost tour in Savannah, and I thought it was the silliest thing I've ever done, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's right.
Gettysburg, they do it.
Because the Sumner County Museum hosts the cemetery tour
Right.
of the old Gallatin Cemetery, and then the Beach Covenant Presbyterian has one of their cemeteries. And those would be part of the dark tourism.
Absolutely, yeah. And we don't want to step on any of their toes, we just want to grow it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think agritourism is probably one of the larger opportunities we have in Sumner County, so it's probably something we probably want to continue to pursue more detail, and then to Eric's point, how do we, how do we revamp our website and other things to, help promote some of those things?
And it really goes with the, like you had mentioned earlier, is the access to brochure boxes and, or going down. Well, web views should be going up, so what your effectively the website is how you convey who you are.
Right.
And based on the new information you gave, our website doesn't convey who we could be.
Right. It currently promotes our biggest draw, which is the lake and sports. And those have been historically our biggest draws. These are new directions that we're trying to go because I think we can maintain those numbers, but we want to grow in some new directions.
There's at least one and maybe two or more organizations that are doing kayaking on the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And so once the weather warms up, that's a good draw for the outdoor businesses.
Yeah.
But with your new player, the business development players having the ability to have a good working outline of what areas and it should be reflective all the way through to the web design all the way through.
And tomorrow I'm being interviewed by Channel 2. Well, I'm not being interviewed. We're having a discussion with Channel 2 because they're putting together a show about the impact of Johnny Cash on Sumner County. And so because we do tours over there occasionally for the buses that come through, but I didn't feel qualified, so I reached out to someone who was referred to me, and she actually played in Johnny Cash's band, and she does Johnny Cash tours outside of the county, but brings them to sites in the county. So she's going to join us in that meeting, but tomorrow we're going to probably start a collaboration where we really get a fine-tuned Johnny Cash tour for Sumner County.
Isn't there a route?
That we have?
There is. Signs.
Yeah. But it needs to be revamped and made a little bit funner and a little bit more stories.
Sure.
But yeah, we're working on that, just so you know the kind of things we do.
Oh, yeah. Question for Tracy.
Uh-oh.
No, it's okay.
I don't
I'm
know.
asking you because you're a member, you're the director of the Chamber of Commerce. So anything that you think, we could do, be doing from a tourism standpoint, more with the municipality chambers, that would be beneficial?
I think that the idea of the farms, kind of promoting that, we have a lot of farms, farm people who want to do something. We need something besides Grandpa's Music in Westmoreland.
Yeah.
The thing is, funds. That's what I run into every time we have a good idea. We have no funds to do what we need to do. One of the things that I really wanted to do, and I was hoping to get grant money, but we did not qualify, was the little tunnel. Clean that up. It's historic. Clean that up. Make walkways.
Smallest town in the world.
Yes.
Smallest railroad town in the world.
Have some benches out there. Clean it up. Make it a park where people want to go and ride bikes, walk, just sit and enjoy nature, that kind of thing. But we did not qualify for that money, and there's no money to do it.
How much money do you need?
Yeah.
That I don't know because, it was stopped before I even got to that point.
Let me know. I've got sponsorship money, and that's a sponsorship.
That would be a sponsorship,
Yeah.
And that
That
is a
would be
destination
awesome.
that will bring people.
It is, and another question about that, or at least something to think about is, we're talking about agritourism and we're talking about other things, but what about volunteer tourism? Hey, we have this site on this day, we're going to be doing an effort to do that. Are there people that are avid,
People in their 20s want to do something.
yeah. So anyway, just something to think about it, maybe a garbage idea, which is totally fine. I've had plenty of ideas that are sitting right there. And that's
They don't wanna
fine.
work, but they wanna do something.
But I mean, if it was an opportunity where we said, hey, look, we've got this event planned, not a barn raising, but it's like one, like, come and we'll have, whatever, an event and restore it, absolutely.
So I've got a lot of new things that we have started. Of course, the supper's coming up April 10th. People come and we do the Citizen of the Year, we do our officer installations. We do a live auction with Ben Gray, and so we have donations and everything for that. That is one of our fundraisers. I've started a rook tournament. That's going to be May 31st. It's going to be our first one. I've started a golf tournament last fall. We're having our second golf tournament April 26th. And then, of course, we've got Freedom Fest, which is huge. And I try to get enough sponsors for that to cover the expenses, plus try to help out with parades and all that kind of stuff, community stuff. But as far as tourism, we really need something. I mean,
Are they still having the mule sales up there?
No. It's,
But that's something that could have brought people in if that was handled.
right. Actually, I'm in the building where they did that, the Expo Center.
Uh-huh.
It's Wilson Lumber, and the chamber office is inside of Wilson Lumber.
So Wilson Lumber's taking over the Expo Center?
Yeah. We really do need something now. And there's opportunity there if we could just get the funds.
Back to ag tourism for a minute. A number of years ago, a gentleman wanted to, I'm talking 10, 12 years ago, a gentleman wanted to open up a brewery on his land in the county. Zoning prohibited it. So those of us on the county commission at the time, we promoted changing the zoning. So the zoning laws have been changed to allow more agribusiness, agritourism kind of things. It was like, if you're going to sell something from your farm, it has to have been 100% grown in Sumner County. Well, you're going to sell jellies and jams, you may not have 100% grown in Sumner County. But, so it's been opened up a lot. So you might look at, the zoning regulations with regards to agribusiness, agritourism business, because that might help with agritourism, because a lot more things are allowed now than used to be. No, it's across the state line. It's Scottsville.
Yeah, there's one in Scottsville, and then there's one in Macon County, just on the border.
Yeah, on the other side of the county line.
All right, anything else from the director's report? No. All right. Then, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, do you have a second? All right.
According to Robert's rules, all that's necessary is a motion and a second.
Thank you, everyone.
You don't have to vote on it.
No.
By all means, if you oppose it, stay sitting here as long as you like.